The storm raged outside, each clap of thunder shaking the old house to its very foundations. Driven by a mix of boredom and curiosity, young Timmy decided the attic was the perfect place for an adventure. He pushed open the creaking door, a cloud of dust billowing out to greet him. The air was thick with the smell of forgotten memories and damp wood. As he ventured deeper into the cluttered space, a brilliant flash of lightning illuminated the room, casting long, dancing shadows that twisted familiar objects into monstrous shapes. One shadow, long and slender, seemed to point towards a dark corner. There, half hidden beneath a pile of old linens, was a small, wooden box. Wiping away a thick layer of grime, Timmy lifted the heavy lid. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, lay an antique doll. It had porcelain skin, cracked with age, and glass eyes that seemed to stare right through him. He reached for it, and as his fingers brushed against its cold cheek, a faint, almost inaudible whisper seemed to curl through the air. Drawn by an unexplainable fascination, Timmy carried the doll down to his bedroom, placing it on the nightstand beside his bed. He tried to dismiss the whisper in the attic as a trick of the wind, a figment of his overactive imagination. He climbed into bed, pulling the covers up to his chin as the storm continued to batter against his window. The room was dark, save for the occasional, fleeting flash of lightning. As he drifted on the edge of sleep, he heard it again, clearer this time. A soft, chilling whisper that seemed to come from right beside him, breathing a single word, "Timmy." His eyes snapped open, darting towards the nightstand. The doll sat exactly where he had left it, its painted smile fixed and unnerving. He stared, his heart pounding in his chest. In the next flash of lightning, he could have sworn he saw its eyelids flutter. A slow, deliberate blink. He squeezed his eyes shut, telling himself it was just a shadow, a trick of the light. But when he dared to look again, another flash confirmed his fear. The doll's eyes flickered open, then slowly, unnaturally shut. A cold dread began to creep over Timmy. He lay perfectly still, pretending to be asleep, but his eyes were wide open, fixated on the doll. Every time he blinked or looked away, he felt a subtle shift in the room. When he glanced back, the doll's head was tilted at a slightly different angle. Its tiny hand, once resting on its lap, now seemed to be inching towards the edge of the nightstand. The shadows in his room, once benign, now writhed and twisted on the walls, seeming to dance to a silent, sinister rhythm. Suddenly, he heard the soft, unmistakable sound of footsteps, like a child's bare feet pattering on the wooden floor. His breath caught in his throat. He slowly turned his head towards his full-length mirror. In the dim reflection, he saw his own terrified face, and standing right behind him, the doll, its glass eyes gleaming in the darkness. With a shriek, Timmy scrambled out of bed, but the doll was no longer an inanimate object. It moved with a jerky, horrifying speed, its little legs skittering across the floor in pursuit. The whispers grew louder, more frantic, echoing from all corners of the room. It wasn't just his name anymore. It was a desperate plea, the voice of a lonely spirit trapped within the porcelain shell, crying out for a friend, a playmate for eternity. Timmy stumbled backward, his eyes wide with terror as the doll closed in. He scrambled to hide under his bed, pulling the comforter down to conceal himself. For a moment, there was silence. He held his breath, praying it was over. Then, in a heart-stopping finale, a tiny, cold hand shot out from the darkness under the bed and clamped firmly round his ankle. Fighting through his panic, Timmy kicked free and lunged for the doll. He snatched it, ignoring the chilling whispers that now screamed directly into his ear, and sprinted back to the attic. He threw the doll back into its dusty box, slammed the lid shut, and sealed it with heavy-duty tape. He didn't stop there, He took the box out into the muddy backyard and buried it deep in the cold, wet earth. That night, exhausted but relieved, Timmy finally fell into a restless sleep. But just as dawn was about to break, a familiar, faint whisper slithered from the darkness beneath his bed, promising that their game had only just begun.